Well, it is now 6 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order.
Okay.
So let's start with roll call.
Hankins,
Yes, or here.
Triplett,
Here.
Power Socks,
Here.
Dietz,
Here.
Olfest,
Here.
Vogel,
Here.
Stires.
Here.
All right. Item number 3, approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion for that, please? Or are there any changes? Anybody want to change anything? If not,
Dennis, I just had one item. Do we normally have audience items not on the agenda? I don't know if we have audience tonight, but
yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I noticed that last time and I didn't catch it this time.
We
Was there
haven't
any-
been doing it during the Zoom calls
okay.
because
Have
it's
you
more
Yeah, have you had any comments come to you that would be of interest that they wanted?
No, I've had a couple
Okay.
people call with questions about the rezoning, but just questions, and I've answered those.
Okay, all right. Very good. All right, then hope you've all had a chance to read the minutes. If there aren't any changes or additions, amendments, can we have a motion to approve?
We still need a motion to approve the agenda.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking for.
Oh, I thought you said the minutes.
Min-
I made-
sorry. Oh, the approval of the
I'll make a
agenda. I'm
motion
sorry,
to-
we're still on the agenda. Yep, approve the
I'll
agenda.
make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The agenda is approved. Okay, number 4. Back to the minutes. Any amendments, changes, comments? If not, can we get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written for July 20th, 2020.
Is there a second?
I wasn't
I'll-
there.
I'll
All right.
second the motion.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Hearing none. The minutes have been approved. Okay, item number 5. Consider recommendation to council to approve Big Creek Technology Campus Plat 5 final plat. Is there someone to speak to that?
Paul Clausen is here, or is
Okay.
it on the call, I should say.
Paul, do you have any comments? Like to talk to us about that?
Paul Clausen, Civil Engineering Consultants, 2400 86th Street, Urbandale, Iowa. These are just 2 outlots that have been left over from previous final plats. They were pending an environmental study, which Jeff Walters with Snyder's has completed, and we're getting a confirmation letter from the United States Army Corps of Engineers that whether or not there are any jurisdictional wetlands or waters on the properties. We don't believe there are, but these lots meet the zoning ordinance for Polk City, and I ask that you recommend approval to the council, and I'm happy to answer any questions that I can.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Kathleen, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I guess I just thought to expand a little bit upon what Paul said. We will not be taking this to council until we hear back one way or another on that wetlands determination. And if the Corps does require it, then we would be recommending the addition of a conservation easement similar to the one that's on Bruce Boland's lot to the west. However, again, it does not appear that that will be the case, but just to let you know that. So that would be the only minor change that would happen between now and council. So they'll also need to provide all the legal documents that we've listed in the letter or in the memo.
Okay. Any questions, comments from the commission? These are the 2, these lots are east of Boland, right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay, right. If there aren't any more questions or comments or concerns, shall we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we recommend to council approval of the Big Creek Technology Campus Plat 5 final plat, subject to city staff and engineer comments dated August 12th, 2020, and also the review comments and recommendations contained therein.
Thank you. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Deanna. Okay, I'll have a roll call, please.
Triplett,
Yes.
Bowersox,
Yes.
Dietz,
Yes.
Olfest,
Yes.
Vogel,
Yes.
Sires,
Yes.
Hankins.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, that will be forwarded to the council. Item number 6. Consider recommendation to council to approve amending the comp plan and rezoning 31.8 acres east of 220 East Vista Lake Avenue, known as Big Creek Technology Campus, from M1, C2, R2, and R3 to R1, single family detached. Is there someone to speak to that item?
Good evening, everyone. This is Erin Olendike. I'm with Civil Design Advantage. My address, 3405 Southeast Crossroads Drive, Suite G in Grimes. I am here tonight on behalf of the North Polk School District to represent them on this rezoning. This project, as you mentioned, is south of East Vista Lake Drive, and we are essentially cleaning up the zoning to rezone the entire property to R1. The school is going to sit on approximately just shy of 36 acres. On that south side, and they do butt up against 3rd Street as well. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay. Kathleen, do you have any comments?
Yeah, just to let you know, you at the bottom of the first page on that memo, I've showed the current land use plan from the comprehensive plan. On the left is the current plan, and on the right would be the proposed. So we would be taking out about roughly 15 acres of industrial type use that would include not only the school, the industrial that's on the school's property, but kind of the northeast corner of that would be adjusted to more of a single family use, or low density residential use, I should say. And then you'll see there's some change there too to the wetlands, because the wetlands determination has changed and doesn't show jurisdictional wetlands in the area on the north side of Bruce Boland's property and the lot that was just in Plat 5 that we just talked about. There's been some minor change to the west side of the site in that there's less area that's shown as open space. This is the area now shown as open space is more in line with the drainage ditch and embankments that runs along 3rd Street. And it's very difficult, if not impossible, to tell, but there is a 30-foot wide green space, open space along the south property line of the church.
Okay.
So that's kind of the difference between the two.
All right. Any questions or comments from the commission members?
I have one question. So I know we had talked about this previously, our concern with losing commercial and commercial predominantly zoning in our city. And I know last month we eliminated a small chunk of commercial too. What is our plan moving forward if we continually shrink our commercial property base?
Well, I mean, number one, we could look at a comprehensive plan amendment and just really study the issue. The rezoning last week that went from commercial to, so it went from C1 to R1, actually the C1 district allowed residential there. So there was no requirement for the property on the north side of Broadway to be commercial anyway. So they could have, as without rezoning, they could have built homes along Broadway under the C1 zoning district. So that's a little bit different animal there because they were entitled already to build it. This is obviously different. It takes out about, like you said, for the school site only, it's about 10.27 acres of industrial on the north side. There is 4.16 acres of commercial right along 3rd Street, although a good, at least half, if not more of that is actually in open space, and it's a drainage ditch that cannot be developed. So, you might have lost 2 acres at most there on the commercial there. So you might be looking at a total loss of about 15 acres of industrial and a couple acres of commercial. But again, we could look at other sites that you may want to consider amending or increasing those. As you recall, there was also out on the Schnetzler piece, the commercial wound up being shrunk there too. So there was a loss in commercial space along Northwest 44th Street too. So it's kind of a cumulative thing. So we could, bring that back, or have the city manager could direct us to come to take a look at that at some point.
Yeah, that might be something we want to look at again here.
Yeah, I share also Deanna's concern, or Commissioner Triplett's concern, and like our city engineer said, it's an accumulative thing. We keep saying that we might get together in the future and take a look at that, but it seems that it's difficult to work on projects like that currently, but it does need done. And specifically on the industrial property, if we were to expand that currently, probably the most likely spot we would do that would be to take our current industrial that's depicted in these comp plan snippets and just move it further north would probably be the most likely place to expand our industrial. However, if we don't do that promptly, if that's our intent, there's always a chance with the school coming in that someone would choose to work on starting development on that. And so, saying that we're going to do it sometime can sometimes be an issue when other parties are going to be moving forward with plans. I might add those concerns are not going to be impacting my vote tonight on this specific project, but it does cause me concern that we keep letting this slide and feel that we need to address some of these changes that we have been making in the comp plan.
Thank you. Anybody else have any comments or concerns? Okay, if not, can we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we recommend to council rezoning 31.8 acres of East Vista, of 220 East Vista Avenue, known as Big Creek Technology Campus, from M1, C1, R2, R3 to a R1 zoning single family detached, as depicted in the engineer and staff's comments dated August 7th, 2020, subject to the comments and recommendations, and also amending the comprehensive plan to the diagrams in the same document.
Second.
Second. Thank you. We have a motion and second. Roll call, please.
Sires,
Yes.
Hankins,
Yes.
Triplett,
Yes.
Bowersox,
Yes.
Dietz,
Yes.
Olfest,
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. That also goes forward. Now, I guess that takes care of the 2 action items we have this evening. Item 7, reports and particulars. Ron, do you have any liaison comments?
Just like to make a comment about, we've had discussion over the last 2 council meetings about going back to live meetings. And right now it's going to remain as a discussion item moving forward to our council meetings in the future. And right now, I think what we're doing now is fine, but some other people might think we need to go back to live meetings. And I would like to just ask you guys if, as a commission, if anybody has heard any comments or heard anything from anybody for or against live meetings.
I guess I have an opinion, and that is I would feel uncomfortable having a live meeting in the council chambers because of its size. I'm on the visioning commission or committee as well. Last Thursday, we would have had our first live meeting back at the Luana Bank room, and I was planning on attending that because that room is so expansive and can better accommodate spacing. That meeting ended up going virtual because of internet issues after the storm. But that might be something that could be considered is, temporarily moving meetings out of the council chambers and into a larger meeting room where spacing can be accommodated.
Thank you, Ron, for your comments. And that was part of our discussion because, and another problem we have, and Jenny can allude to this more than I can about, we don't have enough technology to have everybody present in a Zoom meeting or some such thing, and we discussed having it in a bigger room where we can get better spacing, and I agree with you. I for one am not comfortable to go back yet.
I guess I would feel that way. Particularly since we just can't seem to get our numbers down. When you look at what's going on, it's just we're not going the right direction. So until some of those things change, I think we need to be careful about some of that stuff. I do think if we had, like Ron said, if we got a large enough room to, have spacing and so on, I'd probably feel comfortable with that.
Well,
I
thank
think
you
the
all.
chambers are a little close yet.
Thank you all for your comments, and I agree. They're just numbers haven't convinced me yet, and I have other people in my house that I have to consider, and that's all part of my decision. So,
Right, sure.
Thank you. Other than that,
Yeah.
I don't have too much to say.
Anything from the city? City staff?
I have nothing tonight.
Okay. All right. Anyone from our commission members? Anything? We're just all pretty much hunkered down, I guess.
Yeah. Another thing I would like to say, I left out about how good the citizens of Polk City were, and getting out and helping one another, and the help that the city provided, and the cleanup after the storm. That I hear about the neighboring cities and how much harder they were hit than we were. I kind of got disturbed when people were telling me that, because I had a great big maple tree on top of my house when I was hearing these comments. So it was hard for me to be sympathetic with anybody else. But thankfully, I got that all cleaned up with like the Beatles said, with a little help from my friends. People showed up, and we got it all cleaned up, and we were fortunate.
Yeah, it's the city finally got over to our neighborhood today with curb pickup items, which was appreciated. And yeah, everybody's kind of still in recovery mode, I think. We personally have other things to do in the yard to get back to clean up. But we need a tree trimmer, so we're in the queue for that. So who knows when that'll happen.
My neighbor man had a lot of dead leaves or dead limbs, good sized limbs in his tree that needed to come down, and there was a company down the road cleaning up somebody else's yard, and he went down and talked to them, and they cleaned his, but he should have got the price beforehand, because he was quite shocked when they were done.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Oh, well.
No,
Well,
we
folks,
were very lucky that because we could get rid of everything. I quit counting Monday at my 25th load, and plus, that was just what I hauled, and I had two friends with trucks and trailers that were taking loads out there too. So
yeah, well,
I
really have to commend the city staff that were, keeping it open out there so people could bring stuff out there. It was that was a constant thing.
It was. It was. I waited in line almost every trip, but still, that was better than hauling it somewhere clear south of Des Moines.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It was much appreciated.
Well,
Yeah, I feel very fortunate that we have that out there.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I was also glad I had heard that they were checking names and addresses. So I was glad to hear that because I want to keep it out there.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a.
I didn't know excuse me. I didn't know that they were doing that because I was out there. I went over and saw a man over there and I helped him unload his truck. And I was thinking to myself, well, I know this guy, but where is it? I finally figured out, yeah, he lives about 3 miles north of here. So
Yeah.
I rather than just getting on him, I made a comment about, I hope the people that don't live in town realize how beneficial this is. And this is our tax dollars at work.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a great thing for the city to provide that service to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I use it quite often.
yes, it is.
Well, if there's nothing else, I suppose we have a motion to end the meeting.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second. Deanna?
So moved.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you all. Have a good month. Stay safe out
Thanks,
there.
folks.
Take care.
Yes,
Take
bye.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.